Your first 1,000 followers are quietly writing rules you never agreed to. You think you're the one steering. You picked the niche, you shot the videos, you wrote the posts. But the people who showed up first arrived for a specific version of you. And the moment they stayed, that version became a contract. A contract you signed without reading. And the day you try to grow past it, you'll feel the pull of everyone who liked the old thing. This is the trap nobody warns you about when you start building a project, a channel, a brand, a body of work that's actually yours. Let's talk about who really owns your range. Picture the first 100 people who ever cared about what you made. Maybe it was a fitness account where you posted brutal honesty about cutting weight. Maybe a coding channel where you explained things slowly. For total beginners. Maybe a clothing brand built on one loud, ironic graphic tee. Those first people didn't just watch. They formed an expectation, and they recruited more people who wanted the same expectation met. Now the audience has a shape. And shapes resist change. Here's the part that stings. You attracted that first crowd before you knew who you were. You were experimenting. You hadn't done enough reps to find your real voice, your real taste, the actual center of the thing you're building. The early signal locked in while you were still a draft of yourself. So the contract isn't even based on the real you. It's based on a guess you made in month 2, frozen in place by people who happen to like that guess. Think about what that does. Every creator who's tried to evolve has felt it. The comment section turning cold the moment you change lanes. The beginner coding channel grows up. The creator wants to talk about architecture, about hard trade-offs, about the stuff that actually got them good. And the audience built on hand-holding revolts. You've changed. This isn't for us anymore. Bring back the old content. Each of those comments lands like a small accusation of betrayal. And betrayal is a heavy word for the crime of growing. So, the creator retreats, back to the beginner stuff, back to the safe lane. Not because it's what they want to make now, but because the social cost of leaving feels unbearable. The audience didn't build a fence. They built a feeling, and the feeling does the fencing for them. Why does this script so hard? Because the early audience is also your first proof that you're not crazy. When you start, you have nothing. No numbers, no validation, no evidence that the thing in your head is worth a single minute of anyone's life. Then those first people show up, and they become precious. They're the ones who believed before there was a reason to. And you feel like you owe them. That debt is real, and it's beautiful. And it's also the exact mechanism that cages you. You protect the thing that saved you, even after it starts to shrink you. Let me steelman the people telling you to stay in your lane. They have a point. Consistency builds trust. An audience that knows exactly what you offer will refer you, buy from you, defend you. Whiplash kills momentum, and a creator who reinvents every week never compounds anything. The advice to pick a lane and own it isn't dumb. It's half right. But here's what it misses. It assumes you already know which lane is yours. And if you locked your lane in during week 3, you optimized your entire trajectory around the least informed version of yourself who ever touched the keyboard. So what do you actually do about it? You don't get to choose whether the contract forms. You get to choose when and around what. The first lever is the most uncomfortable one. Change before you're big enough for it to hurt. The cost of breaking a social contract scales with the size of the crowd holding it. 10,000 people enforcing the old you is a prison. 100 people barely notice. The window where you can still mess around, try the weird thing, post the off-brand idea, that window is widest at the start and narrows every single day. A small group that holds you to weekly stakes, something like Pledge, Mastermind Circle, link in the description, keeps that window honest because you told 4 people what you'd ship and when. Most people waste it being careful. They guard a reputation they haven't earned yet, optimizing for an audience too small to matter while the cost of flexibility is still nearly zero. So in the early days, be loud about one thing that you experiment. Build the expectation of range into the contract itself. This is the move almost nobody makes. If your first audience signs up for a fixed flavor, every change reads as betrayal. But if they sign up for a person who tries things, who openly evolves, who treats the whole project as a lab, then changing is keeping the promise. You wrote a contract with room in it. The frame you set in month 1 decides whether growth feels like loyalty or treason for years afterward. Watch how the creators with real staying power talk. They train their audience early to expect the turns. I make stuff. Some of it will surprise you. Stick around for the ones that hit. That single framing buys them a decade of freedom. There's a second lever, and it's quieter than the first. Pick the foundation of your contract carefully, because some foundations have a ceiling baked in, and some don't. If your whole appeal is one format, one gimmick, one frozen aesthetic, you've built on a floor that becomes a roof. But if the thing people sign up for is your judgment, your taste, the way you see, then the surface can change 100 times and the contract still holds. A creator known for funny gym fails is locked to gym fails. A creator known for an eye, for taste, for calling things early, can move from training to nutrition, to building a brand to teaching, and the audience follows, because what they bought was the operator, not the output. So when you name your thing, name it around the part of you that travels. Make the constant your way of thinking, and let the topic be the variable. That one choice quietly decides how far you can ever go, and almost nobody makes it on purpose. They name themselves after whatever happened to pop first, and then spend years serving a label they wrote in a hurry. There's a human moment underneath all of this. You've felt it, that flicker of dread before you post something that doesn't match what you usually post. Your thumb hovers. You picture the one regular who'll be disappointed, and you delete the draft. That tiny act of self-censorship, repeated a few hundred times, is how a person with enormous range ends up making the same video forever. Now flip it. What's the actual price of obeying the contract? The price is that you never find your ceiling. You only ever do enough reps inside the safe zone to get good at the safe zone. You never discover that you're a sharper long-form thinker than a quick tips machine. You never learn that your real edge was the strange hybrid nobody asked for. You die creatively at the skill level your first audience approved, and you call it focus. And the coldest part, the audience doesn't even know they're doing it. There's no villain. Nobody's plotting to keep you small. They just liked a thing, and liking is a quiet kind of gravity. The room you walk into shapes you long before you notice the walls. So treat your audience as a force, the way a sailor treats wind. You can't argue with it. You can set your sails against it. If you're early, this is your unfair advantage. You haven't formed the contract yet, which means you still get to write the terms. Plant the flag that you're a builder who explores, not a vending machine that dispenses one product. Show the range before anyone's invested in the narrowness. Let your first 100 fans fall for your restlessness instead of one frozen output. And if you're already deep in a contract you've outgrown, it's heavier, but it's not a life sentence. You renegotiate the way you'd renegotiate any relationship that's gone stale. Slowly, honestly, and by bringing them with you. You don't vanish and reappear as a stranger. You narrate the shift. Here's where my head is going. Here's why. Here's what I'm chasing now. You'll lose some people. You will. The ones who only wanted the old flavor will leave, and that loss is real, and it'll sting. But the ones who stay are signing a new contract, one with you in it instead of a fossil of you. That trade is almost always worth it, because a smaller audience that lets you grow beats a larger one that demands you don't. There's a deeper reframe here, and it's the thing I most want you to carry out. The goal was never to find your audience. The goal is to find yourself through enough reps that you couldn't have predicted the destination at the start. Your audience is a tool for that, a mirror, a source of energy and feedback. The instant the tool starts dictating the work, you've inverted the whole thing. The map started drawing the territory. You're building a life on your own terms. That's the entire point of doing this outside the safe scripted path. And your own terms has to include the terms of who you're becoming, not just who you were when you first hit publish. The most expensive thing you can do is hand the steering wheel to people who fell for your starting line. So protect your range like it's the asset it is. Stay legible enough to keep people, strange enough to keep yourself. Change while the changing is cheap. Tell the truth about where you're headed before the crowd gets too heavy to turn. And when the comments say you've changed, understand what that sentence actually means. It means you're still alive in there. It means the draft is still being written. The day nobody accuses you of changing is the day you became a rerun of your own first season. Your first followers handed you a script. Pick up the pen and keep writing past the part they memorized.